In this Grace Fellowship Church, having the opportunity to speak and launch this book today in front of all of you lovely ladies. So we're going to give away 2 books right now. Tanisha from Divas. Yeah! Did I say it wrong? How do you say it?
It's Tincia.
Tincia. That's beautiful. Tincia from Divas. All right, one more. She wasn't here. Hold on. I knew it. Going again. Farrah Sinclair. She's coming? Yeah, I have that chart. Thank you. All right. I want to give a big thank you to Ron Carson Jr. Is he in the room? He's been shooting all of us with the cameras and the video today. Thank you, Ron, for videoing our speakers. Ron Carson, here comes, here comes. All right, everybody, this is Ron. Give him a... Ron Carson Jr. is the founder and editor-in-chief of Highlight Magazine, a publication dedicated to showcasing and celebrating Athens Black communities. With a background in mass communications and a passion for graphic design and photography, he uses his platform to spotlight local contributions and developments within the Athens culture. So everybody try to get in front of Ron today and get your photo made. All right, we are on to our next speaker. This is going to be a panel discussion, but I'm going to bring up Camille Garrison. Camille is she is the passionate force behind AC Landscape Design. As the landscape designer and owner, Camille brings a unique perspective to the field. With a background in advertising and a double minor in horticulture and Spanish from the University of Georgia, she combines creativity with expertise to craft stunning outdoor spaces. Driven by her love for the outdoors, plants, and gardening, Camille's journey led her to transition from a successful corporate career to pursuing her true passion. Her husband's recruitment to Monroe, Georgia, marked a turning point, prompting Camille to delve into the world of landscape design. Armed with a certificate in landscape design from Emory, she immersed herself in the industry, honing her skills and gaining invaluable experience. Camille is excited to introduce you to a group of casual creatives for this fun panel around workflow hacks. Please welcome Camille to the stage.
Thank you so much, Lita. I am thrilled to introduce y'all to this wonderful panel, but first a little bit about how this group came together. One morning, Dana Doss and I were chatting about our businesses and discussing some of the challenges of being a creative entrepreneur. Things like how to stay inspired, workflow, imposter syndrome. There are a ton of wonderful groups and meetups out there for creatives, but they all seem very formal and Instagram worthy. We wanted this one to feel real and, well, casual. A group where we could come together in our leggings and our sweatshirts, drink coffee, and share our experiences as creative entrepreneurs. Hence, Casual Creatives was born. On the panel today, we have Dana Doss, the owner of Doss Design, Lauren Harrell, the owner of Lauren Harrell Design, and Cassina Huel, the owner of Better to Give Gifts. All 3 of these women are incredibly talented, and I'm honored to be on the panel with them today. I'll pass the mic for each of them, or I guess we have mics, to tell a little bit more about themselves, and then we'll answer a few questions for y'all.
Hello, I'm Lauren Harrell, and I am a freelance interior designer, and I specialize in remodeling and new construction. I call it the empty house pretty, so I don't do the furnishings and such, but I help walk my clients through plumbing fixtures, lighting fixtures, cabinets, etc. And I'm the liaison between the contractor and the homeowner. Will we tell anything else? Oh, was it how we know Amy? Or
Yeah, how we know Amy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I've known Amy since she moved to Athens. I think I was one of the first few, but I feel like I keep hearing stories. She's always told me that I was the first one she met. But I tell a story about her often that makes me laugh when, I don't know, you've been here a little while, but she asked me, does everybody have a family farm and family antiques? Every time I'm at somebody's house and I compliment it, it's their grandma's piece or this or that. So I tell that often because it feels like most of us do have, well, not family farms, but the antiques. And so from Amy, I've learned a lot about processes because business is not my background, and I would tell her every client's different, every project's different. She's like, no, it's not. There's a process. There's a process. It's true. I finally found there is a process.
I'm Christina Huel, and my business is Better to Give Baskets and Gifts. So I curate and personalize everything from small little gifts to larger typical gift baskets. And this can be anything from teacher gifts, which are coming out today, hopefully, to realtor closing gifts, to Airbnb welcome gifts. It's a wide range, but I just take care of your gifting for everyday situations, so you can just delegate that, take it off your plate. And I met Amy through Dana, who connected me, and I got to have a conversation with her and just sat there like, oh my gosh, just like soak it all in. And then did the boot camp earlier this year, which was just amazing, and had so much information, and lots of goals came from it. So she's been a great resource.
And I'm Dana Doss. I own Doss Design & Co. We're a website design company, and I run people's social media for them. Just take that off their plate. So I took Amy's Rise and Shine because of Morgan Massey and her just like glowing about it. And so I learned from it just community matters. And so I think that's how this sort of was born, because a lot of us are solopreneurs and we're working by ourselves, and so we needed that community. And so Amy does it so well, obviously. We're all here because of that gift she has.
Yeah, and to touch on that as well, I came to the Rise Soar conference last year just on a whim, and I met Dana, and then did Amy's boot camp last year, and it was a complete game changer for my business. I'm entering year 2 and just continue to rapidly grow, and yeah, I mean, all of her advice has just been a complete game changer for sure. So that is about us, and we are going to ask each other a few questions, and we'll start with Lauren. Lauren, how do you build confidence as a creative?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to say now just call Kiera. I was like, never mind, I'm not answering that question. But as a creative, it's a pretty vulnerable thing to put out your product, because it feels like you're making yourself subject to being judged on your level of talent. But that probably even applies to people outside of the creative industry. But when you remove yourself from it and not get caught up in the comparison game of looking at all the other businesses that are similar to yours on Instagram, I think it is refocusing on the business aspect of it and building it block by block. And the only way to do that is to get out there and get the experience and do the work. And so from every project, I think you take away like, that worked really well, and I got positive feedback on that, and document that to go back and look at. And then the things that didn't go so well or you didn't get great feedback on, to really study that and think about how you could do it differently, and then do that on the next project. And so slowly you've got evidence, a body of work that you can look back on and say, I am good at this, I do know what I'm doing. And that just helps you revisit that and build your confidence that way. And I think that that's really important throughout your career, because that imposter syndrome that we've talked about, that is a very real thing. So you'll need to, no matter how long you're in your field, you'll need to go back and revisit that. And then having a supportive group, having what I've heard people describe me as is the ultimate hype girl. Have your hype girl, or even if it's your mama telling you you're good at what you do. I think that's important to have that person.
That's good. And the next question. Let's see.
Cassina, how do you balance work life as a creative, and what have you learned from doing this?
Okay, well, y'all, I have the answer. So get ready. Just kidding. If I had that answer, we would all just have our problem solved quickly. But no, what I want to speak on in that is that just remembering the season you're in. I think that we can get really caught up in seeing somebody's business who is just like gone 90 miles an hour and they're just full-fledged and thinking, oh my gosh, like you talked about comparison. Why am I not there? Why am I not doing this? But I think remembering your priorities and your purpose. I know for me, I felt like my business was something God really called me to do. So I keep that as my forefront, that He's showing me what's next. He's growing me through this. And so it may look a little slower. It might look a little different than the person sitting next to you, but it's important to stay in your lane, remember your season, and just, see what can happen through that. And sometimes growing slow is okay. There's a lot to be learned in that too. So I think just keeping your priorities in focus, remembering your why, putting that first so that you can direct everything that you do around that. So Dana, are there any tools, strategies, or resources that you swear by that help you keep organized and focused?
Yes, so two different things. One is just a process or a strategy. I always try to book a client call. I have to. That's how I get to know my clients, because they're typically anywhere. They could be all around the world. So I book that client call first, and that gets me to introduce myself and my process and ask them necessary questions. I feel like in a field of creatives, it's necessary, but not every person does it in the field, and I think that can set you apart if you set that call. So it's immediately, if somebody sends me an email and says, hey, I'm interested in a website, I write back, that is awesome, I would love to learn more about it, let's talk for 15 minutes, how does whatever time sound like? And if they call, typically we will book a website, because we can hear each other, and that I get really interested in new businesses. So when Mary Ashley was talking about the wonder and the invention, like my mind is just like, this is the coolest project I've ever heard about every time, because it's so neat that there's so many different people that have such a different skill set. So that's my number one. I have to have that client call. And then my second one is a technology platform called HoneyBook. Has anybody used that, or does anybody use that? Yes. Andy, yes, of course. So HoneyBook is amazing for me to keep myself just organized. So my husband is very type A, and that's just how God wired his brain. And my brain is like, this looks so pretty over here. So he's always like, how much money are you, like, what are you doing? I couldn't tell you. So anyways, HoneyBook has been really good for me when I book the client, I sign the contract. It's incredibly helpful. One fun fact that I just found out was when I schedule a Zoom meeting, I'm talking with a client on Zoom, and there'll be a note taker in the Zoom call, and I'm like, they're like, hey, who's the note taker? I think it's AI, we're good. It listens to everything, and it types it out, and will email us a copy. And so that has been like life-changing, so I'm not having to write all the notes down and rely on myself as I'm having a conversation. So that is that, but great tools. Camille, what does your creative flow look like, and how do you stay inspired?
So staying creative as a designer and efficient is a constant battle. One of the best ways I've found to combat that is maintaining a schedule. In Amy's Mastermind Bootcamp, I was introduced to the idea of magical Mondays. Y'all, life-changing. I basically take all of my admin and it pushes to a Monday. So, and that's as a mother, and then also as a business owner. So, writing invoices Monday, Amazon returns
Mondays, your kids, I don't know, random school supplies that they need the next week, Monday. And I brought it up here. I have a planner that literally goes with me everywhere, and I have a running list, and everything is addressed on Mondays. And so what that does is it opens up the rest of the week to be creative, to onboard clients. And the other thing that Amy taught me was I love the in-person part of my job. Like if I could be on site talking to someone all day, every day, that's what I would do. Unfortunately, that doesn't create landscape designs. So I have to force myself to be at my desk. So I do 2 in-person days a week. So picking up meetings, following up with clients, that sort of thing. And then the other 2 days are dedicated to sitting at my desk and drafting. Amy gave me some tough love and was like, what does your income come from? I was like, well, design work. She's like, okay, design. So 2 days at my desk doing design work. And then I also write my weekly goals in my planner. And I keep a habit tracker. And the main thing that also does, my habit tracker, is reminds me I can grind all day, every day as a creative and as an entrepreneur. I think a lot of us are built that way. My planner also has ways to remind me to find joy, and that also is what kind of keeps your creative drive, right? Like if we can find joy in our daily life. So a simple reminder like grab a cup of coffee with a friend or go on a date night. Those are all written down for me, and to have that kind of checklist is super helpful. We just got a little 2-minute sign, but I think that kind of. Did we get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Use a habit tracker app.
I do not use an app. I love like written lists and write in a checklist. Like I love a good let me put a check mark down. I find like the app is just less satisfying. But I mean, I think that certainly like if you enjoy a good app, like absolutely, I think that's a good tool. I'm just old school with a planner.
How many of you went from a more traditional career into entrepreneurship, and how do you take that plunge?
I was a teacher. So that was traditional, and then stayed at home, and my husband's aunt encouraged me to go out and do it and share that. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I worked in a corporate position for 7 years after college, maybe more, 8. And yeah, I think just one day I realized that wasn't fulfilling anymore. And so deciding what you want to do, and then like look at what does it take to do that. So I knew I wanted to be a landscape designer, and so then I went and took the classes at Emory, and just I guess making a plan. But yeah, it is a plunge, and it's a big one. But I mean, I think in all of our cases, I would say it's worth it.
I would just add that I heard in a sermon one time that if somebody keeps like telling you, hey, you're really good at this, or you keep kind of getting those outward reminders, or you just feel that like every time I do this I find joy, that is something to really focus on and look at. That might be the thing that's your next step. So just add that.
And I always worked for someone else also, and I did not have a plan. I have no idea how I ended up doing it. It was just a jump, a leap of faith, and my income was necessary for my household. So that actually made me get my butt in gear, because it wasn't a hobby. It was like I had to make up that income, and that's pretty motivating.
I like the signs.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.